Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Episode 67. Joe is still on the camera. We're working on it, as y'all know. How you doing tonight, Joe?
Doing good. Good to be back in the studio. I guess let's just get right into it. We wanted to say from last podcast about the Lakers and their early season struggles, or I guess it's almost like halfway through the season at this point, but we were going to talk about how they were going to play the Mavericks right now. The date is January 18th, 2024, and we're recapping the game last night. They ended up winning the game by 17 points, and so now their record is 21-21 at the moment, which when they won the in-season tournament when they were 15-10, you wouldn't be expecting to be only 500 halfway through the season. Like, they've had two impressive wins in a row, but I'm still a little skeptical about, is this really the team we're riding with into the playoffs? I mean, they're still sitting at the 10th spot. The West is loaded. I don't know if we have the guys to get over the hump.
Are you talking about to win the championship or just to make the playoffs?
This is LeBron James. Yeah, I'm always talking about the championship.
Okay, but they're the 10th seed. They still need to make the playoffs, Joseph.
Yeah, I understand that, but they got two impressive wins in a row. But I don't believe that. I mean, okay, first off, it's all so like close. Like, I think the 10th and like the 4th spot are only like 4 games apart at the moment right now. So it's like they go on a 6-game winning streak. Like, they're the 8th or 7th seed. Like, they're in it still. But I just don't know if this is a team. Like, I don't know if we got to trade Austin Reeves. We got to trade. I definitely got to get rid of Taurean Prince. I mean, that guy has just been ridiculous. But
what? Does he just throw up threes and brick?
he just bricks everything.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy is a walking turnover. You don't even see Cam Reddish anymore. I've noticed a trend. The last 2 games, Cam Reddish is not on the court. Nowhere to be seen. Jackson Hayes is just like, I mean, Jackson Hayes makes me miss Shaq and the Fool JaVale McGee. I mean, this guy is god-awful. He's so athletic. He's literally like a shittier version of young JaVale McGee, and that is saying a lot.
Could you go so far as to say the reason that the Lakers have 2 impressive wins, their last 2 wins, or their last 2 games, is because Cam Reddish isn't playing?
No, it's a little bit of okay, I think he helps. I think his plus-minus is horrible this season.
Terrible.
But I would say D'Angelo Russell's had a disappointing year, and I think the last 2 games he's been kind of turning it on a little bit. He had 30 points last night. Like, he and Austin Reeves are supposed to be the 3rd and 4th guy. Like, they need to be the like a meritable option every night. And those guys, I mean, Austin Reeves, they put him on the bench at points during the season this year. Like, he's not playing as well as last year. D'Lo's not playing at all-star form. But, like, the only positive you can look at is, like, LeBron James is a genetic freak of a human. He's 39 years old. He's still playing at a high level. He's still averaging 25, 7, and 7, which no one's talking about, really. I just find it's just so absurd at this point. It's like, go screw yourself if you don't like LeBron James or you can't appreciate his basketball ability. And another one is Anthony Davis has played pretty much every game this season.
How's he been playing the last 2 games?
Anthony Davis is playing like an all-star starter. Like, this guy's first-team All-NBA.
Okay, well, I'm sorry, but your
What?
tooth is just so throwing me off right now.
Shut the fuck up. It's not noticeable.
It really is bad, as you were saying on the phone earlier.
You're such a dick.
Dude, it is.
You're such
Let me
a
see
dick.
it like this.
No. Okay. I didn't want to talk about this till later, but I guess we'll talk about my appointment today at the dentist's office.
You can't even call it a dentist's office. It's a house.
I feel like I was in Mexico getting this done. Like, I go in. I have a filler in right now. I have like a
crown. He had to get a crown on.
No,
one
but
of his
what's
teeth.
it called right now?
A permanent or a temporary.
I had a temporary tooth go in today, which was like I was kind of getting used to. It kind of blended it a little bit with my teeth.
I couldn't even tell.
You couldn't even tell. So they crack it. By the way, they break it. It's so barbaric. By the way, like, they just literally like just get their fingers right in between your teeth and just snap it.
Well, because the reason. So you have to get a crown on your tooth. They give you a temporary because they have to send they do the permanent one. They send it to a lab. They get made perfectly because it's going to be cemented onto your teeth. And
took 3 weeks to do it.
Yeah, it's supposed to take a while. Like, they're supposed to perfect it.
I did this December 29th, and they said come back in 3 weeks, which is January 18th.
Which is pretty standard.
I come in. They screw the tooth on. They screwed my crown in. By the way, they took everything off. So now I'm literally my tooth right now. It's in my front teeth is smaller than a toddler's. Like, if you blow on it, I'm getting an owie. Like, I'm saying ow if you fucking blow on my teeth now.
It's like a different shade of white. It's smaller than all your other teeth.
No, it's literally like one of those, like, you know those people that, like, kind of get, like, their face, like, or their eyeballs, like, all black with a tattoo, and they, like, they split their tongue down the middle, and they have, like, those shark teeth.
Yeah.
That I kind of look like I have one of those shark teeth right now with one of the, like, with my teeth. It's horrible.
Well, I just can't believe. So you went there today, and you went to go. They were supposed to put the permanent one on. They go to put it on, and they go, "Oh, it doesn't fit."
No, they're like, "Oh my gosh, there's something. It's just like too big in the front, or there's something that wasn't proportionate with the rest of my teeth, with my bottom row." And they're like, "We got to put another filler in." And I'm like, "What?" Like, at this point, like, I'm thinking about just getting up and leaving. But then I was thinking, like, as bad as it is right now, it would have looked 10 times worse.
Well, I just don't get. They've had 3 weeks to make the permanent, and it still doesn't. It's like they haven't done anything.
But here's the BS. This is what I don't understand is that, like, they told me 3 weeks at first, and now they're telling me to come back in 12 days. It's like, why couldn't we done this 10 days ago if it took that fast to correct it? Like, I am a little concerned that I might have just really put myself in a bad situation that I got to just see myself through.
Well, that's what I was saying to you earlier when you were explaining to me. I said, where is this dentist office? And you said it's downtown by Prime Times, and I know where Prime Times is at. There's all those houses that people run. Like,
we're not going to say the business. I don't want to do that.
Well, I'm not going to say the business, but I'm just saying all those houses, like, some of them are like lawyers, some of them are just different businesses. And when you said it's a dentist house, I was just like, oh my gosh, you got to go to My Girl.
You know those commercials that you've been seeing in Bakersfield about, like, don't go to a lawyer that has a 312 area code. Go get a lawyer that's a 661 area code. I was thinking that the entire time while I was in the dentist office. I was like, I should have went to L.A. to do this. Why the fuck am I doing this in Bakersfield?
Not
right
even
now?
L.A. I'm just
thinking, like, there's better. Like, I honestly, if I'm gonna do something with my teeth, like, especially like getting a crown, they're gonna numb it all the way. Like, they're gonna shave it to literally.
Stub.
There's nothing yet to the stub. I need to go to L.A. where they're better. Like, I'm thinking this the entire time in my head, and I'm pissed. While I got, like, a mouthpiece in while they're trying to mold it.
Yeah.
While they're trying to get the like the whole process all over again. They're, like, stitching me up like I'm Frankenstein. It's horrible, and I'm thinking that, like, why would I? First off, I don't want to attack lawyers here, but why the hell would I get a Bakersfield lawyer? Like, I want to go to L.A. if I'm getting a lawyer. Like, I feel like there's better lawyers in L.A.
There's good lawyers everywhere. I don't know. There's good lawyers. There's some good lawyers in Bakersfield.
But there's a reason why you spend that type of money for lawyers in L.A. because they're better.
Yeah. Well, there's probably a lot more.
Here, I'll give you another situation. I had shoulder surgery junior year. I go to the doctor here in Bakersfield, and they tell me, oh my gosh, like, this is going to be like a 9-month. I tore my labrum in my right shoulder, my throwing arm. They're like, this is going to be a 9-month process, maybe to a year. You're definitely going to be out your entire senior year. The guys in Bakersfield, like, a Bakersfield doctor told me that. We go through the grapevine. We go to LA. They're like, oh yeah, he'll be good in 3 months. He'll be good in 3 months. And I'm like, I think that's the difference with all this type of stuff. Like, why the hell would I stay here if I had an option to go to LA? Like, I'm fine driving to LA.
Well, okay, think of it like this. Yes, for surgeons.
By the way, that's so big of a difference. I played my senior year. I played my entire senior year.
Well, for surgeons, the best surgeons are going to be in places like LA, places like New York, big cities. But for dentists, you can find good dentists anywhere, because if you were a good dentist, like, I have a great dentist. I will never let another person touch my teeth. I'd rather have my dentist touch my teeth than go down to LA.
Are you fucking with me right now? Is it that noticeable?
Yeah.
It really?
I didn't even ask you to show it, and I'm just seeing you talk to me right now.
No, I'm talking about the Lakers. I'm trying to get my 2 cents on what's going on with their season. You're like, dude, your tooth looks so bad right now. Like, are you messing with me?
No, it was throwing me off. I didn't even notice you had a permanent or a temporary in before until today, which that's another thing. That was such a waste of time for you to go do today, because I
literally went into the dentist to feel pain today.
Not even just to feel pain, but to get a worse temporary on, because your temporary before was perfect, basically.
They numbed my lip, my right side of my lip. I looked like the big Bambino with a big chaw and going up the bat. For the entire day. It was horrible.
Isn't it weird how, like, over time, dentistry or even medicine, it's like progressed like this. Like 100 years ago, a crown isn't even a thing. Like, you screw your tooth up. Like, why did you chip your tooth or something? That's the reason you had to get a crown, or what? Why is the reason you had to get a crown on that tooth in the first place?
I was under the influence, and I was eating a chicken bone.
No, but didn't you already have a crown? And like, did you have to get the first crown on that tooth?
I used to bite my nails.
And so it chipped your tooth.
It chipped and I always used to like do it like this.
Okay.
That's how it originally chipped.
So imagine 100 years ago, 200, 300, 1,000 years ago, somebody chips their tooth. They're not getting a crown. Like, why all of a sudden? It's just kind of crazy with modern medicine and modern dentistry that now they can go and cement basically a new tooth on top of your old tooth.
I mean, we can get into George Washington and how he fixed that problem, but we don't have to. I mean, there was solutions back then.
How do you think they did it back then? I think they.
You don't know George Washington's teeth?
What?
His entire teeth were made from slave teeth. Like, they would get a slave's.
Oh, I've never heard of this.
They would open up slaves' teeth, pull out their tooth, and put it in George Washington's teeth. Because literally, there's a myth that's like George Washington had all wooden teeth.
Yeah, I've heard that.
In a few words. First off, that's not even plausible to have wooden teeth. They literally, like, barbarically just ripped teeth out of like slaves, like probably slaves that he owned, and he put them in his own mouth.
That's like kind of hard to believe. Obviously, they didn't.
No, it's a real thing.
No,
like, he actually did.
Okay, I understand if that is. Let's say it is true, 100%.
And that's like the rich of the rich back then. Like, that's the best you could do.
It doesn't make sense because if once you pull a tooth out, like a tooth has a nerve in it. It's not just a tooth. Like, it runs down. That's why you feel pain in your teeth. Like, there's nerves that go way deep down.
Oh, I bet he was in severe pain.
But not even that. Once you pull someone's tooth out, that tooth is basically gonna die now. Like, I don't see how you.
They would glue it to his teeth.
Yeah, but I don't see how you can put it back and connect the nerves and shit to make it a live tooth again.
Jackson, to be fair, I don't even think he didn't even know dinosaurs were a thing when he was doing that. I mean, really, the science revolution of whenever they figured out like germs and stuff. 1790, you're just ripping teeth out and gluing them together because, goddamn it, the president needs teeth.
But what I'm getting at is, say they do rip somebody's tooth out, put it in his mouth. Within a year or however long, that tooth's gonna die again, and they're gonna have to do another one and another one and another one.
I don't want to sound kind of like I don't want to make fun of history, and I don't want to not discredit the pain that those people probably went through. I'm talking about the slaves, of course. It's an egregious act, but I don't think he ran short of people to pull.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm getting at. But so today, like, the way it works is if somebody has to get a tooth pulled and wants to put another tooth in there. Mm-hmm. Like, say that tooth that you chipped totally was gone. Like, they had to remove the tooth. What they would do is that you would, instead of getting a crown, because there's no tooth there for them to shave down and cement something on, you go under, they'd put you in like a surgery.
When did anesthesia get invented?
100 or 200 years ago.
Probably like 100 years ago,
something like that. I think sometime in the 1800s, like in the 19th century.
It was definitely not during Washington's time.
No, but the way they do it is you go under and they put, like, imagine a screw, and they put it in your, like, they connect it into your bone.
Yeah.
And then they get like a tooth, like a fake tooth, and then screw it onto there.
Yeah, it's not, you know what? Things are a lot easier than they were. I mean, definitely. I mean, I think they like basically kill George Washington at the end. Like, I think he had like a common flu, and they kind of just like, they thought he can just like, you just like kind of like, he just poured blood out. Like, they would literally. No,
I think
like,
bloodletting was a lot further behind than that.
No, I'm telling you,
because they used to do bloodletting back in like
they were doing bloodletting
in
Washington's time. That's how crazy that shit is. It's like they came up with a constitution that we're still using today, and like the stuff they were doing was so archaic and so like from a different world. Like, people today couldn't even imagine what those like those circumstances were. Well, yeah, what they were doing with. I mean, they're writing the Constitution with a feather. Like, everything is just so.
That's actually kind of interesting. Yeah, like, we have made such advancements in things like medicine, but then when you look at the Constitution they wrote, it is as good as it can get. I don't want to say like that's holy scripture, because I think they can maybe figure out something down the road. Like, I'm thinking like 1,000, 2,000 years from now, where they like conscript something just so grand, something so perfect, something that solves the problems of like inequality, all this stuff, all the problems that people say is wrong with with this country today. I think maybe they answer those problems. No, but I'm talking about the Constitution, like the checks and balances as we have.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, the amendments that were made back then. Like, we are still, right now, especially in today, our amendments, especially like our freedom of speech, our gun rights, they're being attacked now more than ever, and we are lucky that they wrote those into the Constitution.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, because those guys were living through a revolution. I mean, they had a totalitarian, like, government literally imposing taxes on them where they really had no say or like, vote on the matter. Like, they couldn't vote for who was representing them. No one was representing them. Like, I mean, the whole thing, like, no taxation without representation. Like, they were just imposing taxes. It was, like, literally like what was it? It was like a little colony for the Brits to use, like how Australia was. Like, they probably viewed it as the same thing, like a little porting system where they can transport all over the world, where they have networks all around the world. And they probably didn't see like the 13 colonies as a real like threat. And so those people were able to like come together, write up a constitution to prevent something like that to ever happening again, and just like kind of correct the wrongdoings of, I guess, the British Empire. But you got to give the British Empire their flowers too, because of how they came up with the Magna Carta without giving the king absolute power. Like, they had Parliament. They came up with that in like the 13th or 14th century, which was like 400 years before the fact.
I think they kind of forced him into that, though. I think they kind of forced.
But it happened nonetheless.
Yeah,
it happened nonetheless, right? So, I mean, I'm not going to say, like, I think the Constitution as of right now is probably the best form of government that man has ever came up with. But hopefully in the future we can come up with a situation where I don't get fucked at the dentist's office and my tooth looks like I just look dumb. I look like I play hockey right now. Well, I looks like I got punched in the face. I spat out blood and half my tooth is remaining.
Everything can definitely get better, especially when you're talking about things like government and the Constitution. But it is not crazy to say, and I think it's almost the right thing to say, that what they wrote in is what's still keeping this country alive today and keeping this country together.
There's a checks
today.
and balance system. There's no, supreme rule over the land, as people like to propagandize and make seem that other political figures are trying to do, or you compare.
I don't know about the propagandize thing.
Well, saying like, okay, this guy's trying to be a dictator, this guy's trying to be like Hitler. You know what I mean? Like, I can't even say that guy. A dictator, an autocrat, a despo, somebody who's trying to like use his rule as the rule of the land. Yeah. Whatever he says goes, or she says goes, right? Definitely.
It's modern medicine's a great thing. I can't believe I've never heard of that slave thing with the George Washington teeth.
Dude, it's like a whole Shane Gillis bit.
Because now it's like screwing with me kind of, because when I'm thinking about it, those teeth would just end up dying. You can't just I can't just rip your tooth out and put it into my mouth.
Well, you can't have wooden teeth either. And the guy had teeth.
People have porcelain teeth.
What's porcelain?
Like ceramic. Like, that's what veneers are. They're made of porcelain.
Yeah, but like wooden teeth. Like, that doesn't seem that accurate. You know what I mean? Like it's like, oh, he can never tell a lie. He was a man of few words. Well, damn, that kind of makes sense why he was a man of few words. The guy was gluing teeth together.
But if I were to say...
This guy was Hannibal Lecter before Hannibal Lecter.
If I had to choose between ripping somebody's teeth out and implanting them into your own mouth or using wooden teeth, I would bet on the wooden teeth every time, because there's amazing things that people could do with woodwork and make wood super hard and dense and very resistant to like elements or saliva or any of that. I could definitely see that before I see somebody ripping someone's tooth out and planting it in their mouth.
I'm not making this up, guys. You can look this up if you want. George Washington.
I'm not saying you're making
slave teeth.
I'm not saying you're making
literally
it
had
up.
slave teeth. You know what? You want to know another one with one of the founding fathers? John Adams had. It was either him or Benjamin Franklin. Used to run experiments of like dead people in his house. Like, he had dead bodies buried in his home.
I'd bet on that being Ben Franklin.
It was probably Ben Franklin, or John Adams is a weird guy. I'm going to say Ben Franklin.
I don't know, Mike.
If I was taking a test right now on history and I had an A and B answer, I'm picking Ben Franklin. But who knows? I like to say I'm an average student, so I could be wrong about that.
I don't know.
Give that a research, because it could be one of them.
I don't know much about John Adams, but what's the deal with Ben Franklin and being like associated with like electricity or lightning? What is that deal?
Isn't that Thomas Edison?
No,
bad.
Ben Franklin. Like, I don't know why I'm getting this picture.
No, it is Ben Franklin.
Of him with like a kite and getting like electrocuted by lightning or something. Have you heard that?
No,
story?
yeah. That's it's like the 76ers logo. It's like him with a kite.
Yeah, I don't get
around.
it, but I don't get what the story behind that is. I thought you might know because you are kind of a savant with that kind of stuff.
I don't want to say a savant. Jesus Christ. I mean, if I look, I mean, I'm wearing a Brady jersey right now. I'm not a historian here on the matter, but I know I could maybe tell you a little bit. I think maybe it was like the shock of it, so we realized like how energy can be transferred to one state to another. And so like a kite maybe had like what does a kite have, like metal?
Maybe he made it
and
with
like
a
maybe
metal
like
wire.
there's certain elements that attract electricity or like whatever, like an electrical charge, and he probably figured that out. But then I don't know. I really don't know any much to that story.
Well,
I know.
I dare you to, when there's a lightning storm, I dare you to go outside and hold a 9-iron up in the air for 30 minutes and see what happens.
Can you imagine the first guy on the golf course who got lit up?
That's why, Pete, you got to, when lightning's on the golf course, you got to go in, because all those clubs, there's obviously much bigger metal constructions that are pure metal that are attracting the lightning.
Mm-hmm.
But dude, a golf club very well could attract lightning.
I mean, this is a whole skit from Caddyshack where that guy's the game of his life. It's pouring rain, and like he's like on the green, he's putting as hard as he can, and it's going right into the hole. He's like, holy shit.
Yeah, that one
and like
guy.
it's like lightning striking. He's like, I can't leave. I'm playing the game of my life. If you were shooting, if that starts happening to you, and let's say, Jackson, you shoot, and you usually shoot what, 85 to a 90?
Yeah.
85 to a 90. At this rate, you're on hole 15. There's 18 holes to play golf, just in case people who don't know how to play golf. You're on hole 15, and you're on pace to shoot a 76. Are you leaving the course because there's lightning, or are you going to finish the round?
So you're saying I'm going into hole 15, and I'm like 3 over right now, 2 over. I'm finishing the round.
Exactly.
I'm finishing.
I mean, that's the
round.
whole bit, right? It's you gotta weigh the benefits to the cost of it. It's like, what are the real what's the real odds of getting electrocuted?
The problem though with that is if I actually did finish the round and shot 76, I don't think I'd ever golf again unless there was a lightning storm, because I'd start thinking it's the lightning storm that made me play like this.
I think if I shot a 76 and it was something like that where it was just so random and just so lucky, I'd stop playing the game of golf, and anytime anyone asked me, oh, what do you shoot? I would say, I shoot a 76.
Yeah, you'd never play again.
I never play again.
Yeah.
I say this all the time. If I get a hole-in-one, I'm not going to play for a year. I wouldn't.
Hole-in-one.
Hole-in-one would be insane. I'd go to Vegas probably.
The all-elusive hole-in-one. I've never seen one in person. None of my close friends have ever got one.
It's like a unicorn. It's hard to believe. It's like dinosaurs. Are dinosaurs real?
Are
we George Washington? Do we even know if dinosaurs are real?
Would you rather make 5 hole-in-ones by yourself or 1 hole-in-one with like me and Giancarlo playing with you?
Giancarlo is the guy who called into the show yesterday, the dumbass Eagles fan.
So basically 5 hole-in-ones by yourself or 1 hole-in-one with your friends?
You know what? I don't need you guys' validation. I'm taking the 5 hole-in-ones.
No.
I know that I did it. I know,
but you know how, dude, I'd go nuts if I ever saw a hole-in-one.
Jackson, I don't care. I'm shooting 5 hole-in-ones. That must mean I'm damn good.
I've heard old-timers, like when I'll ask him, you ever shoot a hole-in-one? He's like, yeah, I've got about 6. I'm like, okay, yeah, maybe from the silvers.
I mean, does it matter? I
don't know. Like the silvers on hole 3 is like a 90-yard shot.
Are you just equating that to like a chip-in?
Almost. I mean, you're using a wedge when you're 90 yards out already.
Yeah, but you're never going to do a hole-in-one on a par 4.
Of this. Okay, think of this. If you're on a par 4, you hit your drive, and say you're 100 yards out and you hole in from there. That's the same thing as being from the silvers on a whole par 3.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, yeah, if you can reach the green on a par 4 that's like 300 out, kudos to you, man. I can't even hit a drive.
Yeah.
I mean, I hit my 3-wood. I'm so bad. I hit maybe 220 to 240 if I'm really on it that day.
No way.
If I'm hitting center of the ball, 240.
No, that's long.
240?
Yeah, 240's long.
I
Not
can
with
hit,
the 3-wood.
I can hit 240.
No.
Are you?
Joe, I'm telling you. I just played with you the other day.
Yeah, but you haven't seen me play. Like, my best round's a 91.
I know, but if 240's long, like 240 would be like hitting... if you're on hole 2 and you hit a really good drive,
no one
down
knows
the middle,
what hole 2 is.
I'm just saying with you, it's a par 5, and you would get to the green on your second. You'd be putting for eagle, like you get it to the green.
I've been damn close.
Yeah, damn close.
I've been damn close. Like I'm on the top of the hill going for 3.
What do you
chipping? Like I've
yeah,
done that
like
before.
that's what I did that yesterday.
I go 3-wood, 3-wood.
But would like on On hole 13, what are you teeing off with from the Blues or from the Whites when they're back? What are you teeing off with?
Probably that 9 wood now.
Yeah.
That probably goes 210, 200, 210.
Like 200.
If I get a hold of it, it goes 210. That motherfucker flies.
Well, hole 13 from the Whites is only 200, 205.
205, yeah.
Yeah.
But what we did the other day where it went right, it was the same path.
That probably would have been would have been over the green.
I'm just inaccurate with it. Yeah, and that probably goes 215.
Yeah.
But anyways, the reason I'm wearing a Tom Brady jersey right now is because, damn it, I miss the guy. I really do. I mean, I know people are all in on the Pat Mahomes hype train and the Josh Allen hype train and saying those guys are the new faces of football, but it's really, it's almost like Saban and Belichick leaving the sport. Like, I really, it's going to be probably a couple decades until we get somebody like that again.
Well,
somebody so iconic, somebody so loved, like Tom Brady. You know what? I don't think Pat Mahomes gets to 7 Super Bowls. I think he probably tops out after 3, and I know he has 2 right now, and I think he's got 1 more in him.
Which would be amazing.
He might get to 3 or 4. 4 if it's really stretching, because, dude, it's so hard to win a Super Bowl. Like, I miss Tom watching the playoffs and always seeing him in the AFC Championship game, and even when he was on the Bucs, he always made it far. Like, God damn it, he was so iconic. I really miss the guy. I really do.
When Tom left, I don't even have a favorite team anymore. I was like you with LeBron and the Lakers or wherever he goes. Wherever LeBron is at, that's your favorite NBA team. I'm like that with Tom. Like the Patriots were always my favorite team, and then he goes to the Bucks. The Bucks are my favorite team. Now Tom's gone. I don't even care. I don't have a favorite team anymore.
I mean, I think the guy I'm riding with right now is Baker Mayfield, but it's like, it's like a side quest for me. It's like I'm rooting for him because he's making the playoffs this year, but Tommy Brady, year in and year out, was always the best team, always the best quarterback on the best team, always in the MVP race. I mean, the Pro Bowl's a joke. You should have made every Pro Bowl if you're really counting it like basketball. Like LeBron, like Kobe made a fucking all-star team year 19 where he averaged 15 points,
he played
38%.
In 11 or 12 Super Bowls?
He played in 10, which is just so
that's 10 Pro Bowls plus he should have been in.
Yeah, and it doesn't count. Like, the guy should have been in 20. How long did he play? How long did he play?
From 2001.
Started at 22, 2001 to 20. Yeah, he played a 22-year career. He should have probably made 18 Pro Bowls. Like, I miss Tommy Brady, and I'm honestly scared that I got to see the greatest athletes to ever do it when I was really young. And when I'm 40, 50 years old, I feel like I've just been spoiled with just greatness, just so early of an age. I just feel like I will never see anything like it. And you know what? You can say, oh, Pat Mahomes statistically is better than Tom Brady. Go fuck yourself.
Isn't it amazing how guys like that can become to the top of their sport or the top of whatever they do? Guy like LeBron, guy like Tom Brady, guy like, I wouldn't even know who to say for baseball. No, Tom Brady's different than Peyton Manning.
Yeah, by far.
Like, there's always that one guy.
Peyton Manning's like Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
In baseball, Jeter,
exactly. But it's amazing how these guys can get to the top of what they do and the top of their sport, and they're going to be remembered forever. Mm-hmm. Like, Tom Brady's going to be remembered forever.
You know what makes me think about this, too? Because maybe this is just the slow stages of becoming an old head. Because today I woke up this morning. I decided to go on Netflix. Do you know Chevy Chase? You're familiar with his work. Have you ever seen the movie Fletch?
No.
Okay, so Fletch is he's a private investigator, whatever. Some guy comes up to him and he's like, I need you to kill me. I'm dying of bone cancer. Yada, yada, yada. He finds out the guy's not really dying of bone cancer, but why does he want him to kill him? That's where I'm at this far in the movie. But the movie starts with him wearing a Magic Johnson jersey. And probably in whatever the writers were doing at that time, they probably thought Magic Johnson is the greatest basketball player of all time. And I guarantee, I know he's iconic. I know he's well familiarized with the youth, I would say, but they would never say Magic Johnson's in their top 5.
Who's top 5? And the kids
I'm
nowadays?
just saying, not even us. I think people younger than us now are they're already forgetting what happened in the 80s with Larry Bird, Magic, Kareem, Moses Malone. No one knows Moses Malone, but I'm just saying he was really good. People are forgetting stuff that's happened in the past, and they were so great in the eyes of people in the 80s growing up. I'm afraid that I'm going to be that 50 to 60-year-old man who's just They don't do it like they used to. And everyone's going to be like, shut the hell up. You don't even know what you're talking about. The game's changed. The game's better, like what we were doing forever. Right?
That's like every old guy now who says Michael's better than LeBron.
And I can see myself becoming that guy as well. I totally get it.
Well, I think if you were to show any kid now highlight film of Magic Johnson and the passes he would make and the plays he'd make, they'd be like, I've never seen this in my life. Like,
are you kidding me?
Let me watch everything on this guy.
No, that's not fair because you can see Luka Doncic do this on a nightly basis. Trae Young, the nutmegs, like those guys are insane. But the difference is nobody did it before Magic.
Dude.
And all these kids grew up on seeing these flashy plays. Like they grew up watching it, so they knew how to play the game like how Magic played the game, right? I want to be like Mike. Like the people that revolutionized the game are the people that did something that no one's ever seen before.
The people who revolutionized the game are the people who, when you're a kid and you're out on the court, who you start saying Kobe and when you take a shot. Or
now they say
MJ.
Curry.
Yeah, exactly. Curry.
But it's like, okay, nobody shot the three like Curry. Like you could say Ray Allen, Reggie Miller, but like those guys are two guards running off screens, but like not a point guard just pulling up from half court. I feel like most people like think of basketball in that fashion now, like that form of basketball, like how Steph Curry plays the game. There's 13-year-old kids that are practicing those shots now that no one's ever done before because they saw Steph Curry do it, and that's what makes Steph Curry so damn cool.
Well, we both know there wasn't even a 3-point line for a long time.
Until the
70s?
The 82 season. No, it was like 78.
Yeah.
78.
But get back to Magic real quick. You're trying to tell me there's somebody you think Luka or whoever you named is better at doing those magic no-look passes than Magic Johnson.
No, but I'm saying you do see it. You see it.
You
like,
see it, but
they're just as good. They're just as good. But I'm saying it's more valuable with Magic doing because no one did it before Magic.
We're gonna.
There's a difference. There's a difference there.
We're gonna watch a video after this podcast.
I've seen Magic Johnson highlights. The guy's one of the greatest point guards of all time. But I mean, he's better than Curry right now. But I guarantee you, most people younger than us, we're 22 years old. I guarantee people younger than us, like 17, 14, whatever, they would say Steph Curry, and they don't even bat an eye to Magic Johnson. And I think that's going to happen with this Brady pride that I feel deep inside my bones that Tom Brady's the greatest quarterback ever, because those old heads used to say Montana, and nobody even talks about Joe Montana anymore. Okay. No one talks about him.
But those old heads say Brady's the best ever now. Everybody says
because
Brady's
it's
the
just
best
undisputed.
Ever. Exactly.
It's just undisputed.
Exactly. I don't think it's ever going to change like that. It's different with guys like Mike. Like all the old heads say Mike's the best, but all the younger guys will say LeBron's the best.
But does it get to a point though? Okay, Bill Russell won 13, he won 13 titles. He won 11 championships. My grandpa would die on his grave saying Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain are one of the top 5 players of all time.
This is what the problem is we're talking about the best player of all time. We are not talking about the most winningest player of all time.
But I think they equate that to Montana won 4, Brady won 7.
Brady was way better, could sling the ball way better than Montana.
He had all the records. He played forever, sure, yes. But the Super Bowls is what makes him the greatest. The guy won games. He always won.
If you just looked at the way Brady throws a ball and the way Joe Montana throws a ball, you would just say Brady's better.
But here's the difference. Tom Brady grew up watching Joe Montana. That's the only thing. But then so Joe Montana, who watched George Blonda play.
Cares?
I'm getting old. I'm getting my back here. Roger Staubach, Terry Bradshaw.
We're not talking about the most winningest player of
Frank
all time.
Tarkenton.
That's why I say when people bring up MJ and has 6 rings, and when I'm debating it about LeBron, we're talking about the best player of all time. I don't care if he only has 1 championship. It's the it's not the most winningest player.
Championships matter.
Okay, but
you can't say 1. You can't win 1 and be like.
What if LeBron had 1?
You can't even get close to what, because you look at the championships he won and what he did with bringing the Cavs a championship, which they haven't won since the 1960s with Jim Brown. Like Cleveland, that's a place where you go and die. I mean, look at Baker Mayfield. Look at all these guys that went through Cleveland. I'm just saying, as a sports franchises, they don't win games. They never win championships, and they probably won't win another championship until God knows when. But LeBron brought a title. He came back from Miami. He came back because he wanted to prove a point that, damn it, I can bring a championship to Cleveland, and he did it. And he did that again with the Lakers, which even brought it. There's storylines that matter in sports, and the way you win the game, the way you win titles matter. So that's whole Braun's case of saying I'm the greatest of all time, because damn it, I did the impossible. No one ever wins in Cleveland. The reason why I left Cleveland in the first place was because I'm the best player in the NBA. I'm winning back-to-back MVPs, but yet nobody wants to go to Cleveland because nobody wants to live in Cleveland, because Cleveland's a shithole. All right, it's a shithole. But he did it anyways because he wanted to prove the point to people that, damn it, I'm the greatest player of all time because I can win anywhere I go. And then he just doubled down on that when he went to the Lakers, when the Lakers were bad since Kobe tore his Achilles in 2013. He's like, I'm going to bring this once great franchise and I'm going to bring him back to prominence because, damn it, I'm LeBron James and I win everywhere.
Well, in my opinion, the winning argument is just it doesn't even have its place. I wish we had Nick Wright here to start like naming out all.
Nick Wright would be so pro me right now. It's not
no,
even fun.
I'm
you
pro
would be getting
you.
schooled if Nick
Joseph,
Wright was here.
I'm saying LeBron's the best player ever. I'm saying
but championships matter.
I'm saying if we had Nick Wright here, and imagine if Michael had no championships, LeBron has no championships. Nick Wright would say every single stat why LeBron is better than Nick Wright. And even now more than ever that LeBron's now the number one scorer of all time.
Yeah, but you asked the question, if LeBron James only had one title, would he be the greatest of all time? And I'm saying no. Okay. That's what I'm saying. And I think Nick Wright would say the same thing. Like, if he wins that series against the Mavericks in 2011, I think 60% of the LeBron fan base, like hating LeBron fan base, disappear overnight. They're not there anymore. They're only there because they look back at what happened in 2011 in the championship. He meltdown in the championship to Dirk. He lost that series. He brings the super team to Miami and they lose the first year. That's why LeBron has so many haters, and that's why people say Jordan. I mean, look at Skip Bayless. Every point goes back to the 2011 finals. That's every point that any guy who says Jordan's better, that's the point they make because they're like, Jordan would have never lost that series.
I just don't care about the winning. I'm not talking about the most winning.
It comes with
player.
it, dude. It's a team sport. You got to elevate. You got to make players rise with you. You got to bring teams up with you. You got to be able to win with anybody, and that's what LeBron's kind of shown. Without like a real I guess Spoelstra as like an elite head coach, but when Spoelstra was with him in Miami, Spoelstra was a no-name guy who was just like a guy coming up, right? They wanted him out the first year. They wanted Pat Riley to come in because nobody knew who Spoelstra was. But Spoelstra's like arguably like a top 20 coach of all time, but you didn't know that when he was playing with or when he was coaching for LeBron. And LeBron's had nowhere close of like any coach that Jordan had. I mean, Jordan had Phil Collins and Phil Jackson. So did Kobe. So it's like all-time great coach, all-time great market, LA, Chicago. You know what I mean? LeBron does it in Cleveland. Like that's the argument I would make because
with Kyrie.
Okay, yeah, with Kyrie.
And who else?
Kevin Love.
When Kevin Love was good.
Yeah, good. Are you gonna say you're not gonna? What about Shaq? Or I'm not even gonna bring Kobe. I love Kobe too much, but he's not nowhere close where LeBron and Jordan are. Pippen. You had Kukoc, Rodman, all-time great rebounder. And then again, you have Phil Jackson, the Zen master, the triangle offense when it used to work before the three-point line got invented.
I think Spoelstra, you could even go as far to say you could be a top 10 coach of all time.
No. He doesn't win enough titles.
Okay, the winning title thing, yeah, I see that, but
and he's only won with LeBron, by the way.
Look at who the team. Nobody thought Miami would make it to the championship last year.
I know, but that's why he's a top 20 head coach. I mean, there's been so many great coaches that I can't even name that are probably like I'm gonna include Coach K's better than Spoelstra.
This is the problem, though. You would look at guys who just have more championships than Spoelstra and say they're better than him. That's the problem.
No. Okay, well, obviously Phil Jackson, obviously Pat Riley.
Yeah, those are the greats.
Freaking Red Auerbach. Like I can bring back like Jack Ramsey.
How many does Jack Ramsey have?
Probably, I think he just won one with the Blazers, but he won one in Portland. They haven't won one since yet.
Did he have Clyde Drexler in them?
No, he had. This is like in the 70s with Bill Walton.
Oh,
but that you have Chuck Daly. Chuck Daly's an all-time great. You have Don Nelson. All-time winningest coach, Greg Popovich. I would say Steve Kerr's better than Spoelstra. I would say Rick Carlisle's better than Spoelstra.
I would say Kerr and Spoelstra are right there together.
No, Kerr has a dynasty. Like Kerr has cemented himself as an all-time great coach. Let's see. There's other guys that I can't even name. Like, who was the coach for those great? Rudy Rondonovich with the Rockets in the middle of the 90s. Like,
with Hakeem Olajuwon.
Yeah, with Hakeem Olajuwon, Clyde the Dry Drexler.
Yeah, they had a great team.
I know, but they won in Houston, and no one wins in Houston.
I'm just talking about Spoelstra. Nobody expected Miami. You look at
what do you mean? Wait, no one expected Miami to win the title or the last
even make
couple years?
it.
Okay, yeah.
Nobody expected them to make it in the bubble year.
But this is the LeBron shit. People give LeBron flack because he goes to the finals, but he doesn't win. So why are we going to do the opposite?
I'm not. I've never been one to give LeBron flack for not winning in a championship.
I know, but like your argument would just be shot down by so many people saying, "Okay, well, we went to the finals. He went to the finals in a weak Eastern Conference, and then whenever he plays a good team from the West, they lose without a doubt. Like when they were going to the finals against the Nuggets, you know they're going to lose. When you go to the finals against the Lakers with LeBron and AD, you knew they were going to lose. Like there was never like a fighting shot.
Who did they beat in 2016?
Who?
The Cavs.
They beat the most winningest team
the
of all
Warriors.
time, the 73-9 Warriors.
Exactly.
Crazy. It's a crazy. I mean, stories go a long way too. That's who they choose for MVPs
and
too.
Who did he lose? He lost to the Spurs when they were amazing. I guess the only one he really ever lost to that he should have won is the Mavericks. That's the bad one.
And the one I'm a little bitter about the one in 2015 too because that was
against the Warriors.
Because that was when he should have won that one, but Kyrie and Kevin Love got hurt before the finals.
Exactly.
And that one sucks because that was the one he could have won. The ones in 17 and 18 were ridiculous. It was literally LeBron against the dream team.
Wasn't 2016 when they were down 3-1?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And it's never happened.
That's amazing.
It's never happened in the finals.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's another reason why he is the best player of all time.
I 100% agree. But if he only had one championship, if he doesn't come back from 3-1, not the greatest. But he won it. He won it for Cleveland. He won it for the Lakers. He won one for Spoelstra, which is a top 20 coach of all time.
Okay, let me ask you this then. Kobe has one championship. Michael has one championship. LeBron has one championship. Are any of them considered the best ever?
All right, let's just look at a blank. Like, let's just look at attributes, who they are. Like, LeBron's a 6'8", 260-pound guy. You can fly through the gym. Work ethic's immaculate. I mean, obviously, I'm picking LeBron James in a one-on-one matchup. Yeah, for sure.
But I'm not saying one-on-one.
Okay, if you're saying
it's a team sport,
all of them are in their prime. You're starting a franchise today. Which guy are you picking?
Not even saying that. I'm saying if none of them had wins out of it.
They have all zero. Okay, they're just starting their careers.
Yeah, not even just starting their careers.
Okay.
They've played their whole careers.
You're just looking at their stats.
If Kobe retired, Michael retired, say LeBron retired after this season, and none of them ever won a championship, who's the best ever? After all the resumes, but none of them won a championship. LeBron.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, you would probably, all-time stats would be LeBron, but then you look at those Jordan years when he was averaging like 37 points a game.
Okay, but would you say somebody else who has won if none of them had won a championship, would you say somebody else is the best player of all time?
But this is where it gets stupid because when Luka Doncic is done playing, like the guy's been averaging 35 points for the last 3 years. Like the guy is a cheat code when it comes to stats. Or like Jokic, you can look at Jokic's stat line. Like winning championships matters because like. That has so much context. It's like
you're getting away from the conversation.
Because the style of basketball you play matters to win a championship. Like James Harden had crazy stats, but if you just looked at James Harden's stats compared to like Kobe's stats, where like James Harden was averaging 35 and 10 every year, but his style of basketball doesn't win championships, so he's not even like relevant in the argument. But I guess if you wanted to ask me if Michael Jordan, Kobe, and LeBron, and looking at their stats all time, I'd probably say LeBron just because he has all the all-time records.
But would you say somebody else is the number one all-time if none of them have ever won a championship?
I would probably say Luka if he never wins a championship because I think Luka's stats right now are already better than like what those guys are doing.
That's what I was just going to get at too. I think like Jokic and Luka, I mean Jokic especially. I think Jokic is going to go down maybe as one of the best of all time.
I don't know if he'll be better than Shaq because Shaq won 4 and Jokic is like, I think Jokic doesn't have the drive to play that much longer.
Shaq had Kobe. Shaq had players. Like, nobody's ever going to remember anybody on that Nuggets team except Jokic. Nobody's going to remember Jamal Murray.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. But he's got to keep winning, though.
That's right.
He's got to keep winning.
That's right.
If he's done playing, like if he doesn't win another championship, I think they're going to...
They can win this year.
I think if Giannis... Because I think right now Giannis all-time is better than Jokic.
Giannis is very good.
Giannis is a Greek freak, unbelievable.
It's honestly their year to lose,
I feel like my blood pressure is like raising right now just talking about basketball. It's just getting me so... Like I just live for these conversations.
I would love to have Nick Wright in here right now.
Dude, Can you imagine getting paid just to talk about sports all day? Like, I mean, that would be a dream.
No, but Nick Wright, dude, that guy's very knowledgeable.
No, I know. I would love to be knowledgeable about stats from 1995 and be able to talk about that every day. That would be so fun, in my opinion.
He is the best because he's LeBron 100%.
He literally rose to fame.
He bleeds LeBron.
I mean, there's just been guys who have been dick riding Braun.
And I love to hear Nick Wright when he debates people about the LeBron Jordan thing.
Yeah, because he just he just
shits on him.
He's the Vivek Ramaswamy of sports debating.
I don't know about that.
He's the Vivek Ramaswamy. Like, he just Vivek got popular because he was so into Trump. Like, hey, I'm not gonna condemn Trump. I'm a big Trump guy. That's how he got so relevant, because the MAGA people are oh, well, okay, this Vivek guy gets it.
All right, let's get into that real quick.
Because then it's the same thing. Wright's LeBron James, I'm pro LeBron. It's how does Skip Bayless get big?
So Grant brought this up just now inside. Do you think, obviously, I know probably what you're going to say, but do you think it's just time for DeSantis and Haley just to drop out?
Hold on, let me get.
Or do you think they should keep going, maybe keep going for 2028? They know they're not going to win, but
I think they're going to stay in the game, because I think if Trump gets indicted, that's going to, because if he gets dropped out of the race because
we just talked about this last time. Now we're just in a circle.
No, I'm just saying though, I think that's the reason why they're staying, because they're hedging their bet that he will get in trouble, he will have legal problems. And be and where his name can get taken out of a bunch of ballots.
that Colorado thing is going to the Supreme Court, which is a Supreme Court that majority Trump put into that Supreme Court.
Well, I'm just saying, I don't think they're going to drop out, because I think they're hedging their bets on that.
Well, what about once the Colorado thing gets overturned and he is on the Colorado ballots, and they realize that he's not going to have problems?
Yeah, because the 2024 elections start happening. So when are the primaries come? When does he come out of primaries? When is that process?
Around June, I know it's all throughout. The California primaries are in March. A bunch of them are in March. 1 or 2 is in February. The majority of them start coming out in March, April.
When does the main guy come out of for the Republican ticket? When does that happen? Where it's okay, this guy's going to be debating Biden soon, or
summertime, June, July, August.
I don't think they drop out until then, because I think they want to still be relevant in the news cycle. They kind of have their message get out there just in case, in 28 they want to run, because Trump can only serve one term.
You're thinking shallow now. They want it. They want their donations. They want to keep getting donations. Nikki Haley gets so much money in donations.
Yeah, but this is what I also think. I think anyone who tries to run for president is trying to be remembered, or be as somebody who is in the history books. I think a guy like Trump thought that way too, because he's I did everything. I'm a billionaire. I'm a very successful real estate guy. I opened up casinos. But how am I going to be remembered? Because now Trump's going to be remembered as the president and everything that he did beforehand, because he was the president 50 years from now.
I'll tell you what, Nikki Haley.
Because I think there's an ego thing to that too.
Nikki Haley's not going to be remembered.
If she wins, in her mind, if she was elected president, she knows that somewhere she'll be remembered. That I'm just saying, there's an ego thing to it, because people want to be remembered too. Well, you ever see those things on Instagram where people are what do you think about 200 years from now, when nobody ever talks about you, or nobody that you knew is ever going to say your name again? I think there's people out there that think like that.
Okay, but
seriously,
if any person wins president of the United States, you are going to be in history books for all of time.
And I think that, in our history books right now, yes, I think that's an important thing for people to be. Because you don't make a lot of money as a president. You
make a shit ton though, not from what the federal government pays you, but you make a shit ton off of.
Yeah, but it's after
side deals.
But it's after you're the president, you kind of just go into the shadows a little bit. You have Secret Service, you're almost like a dead person living.
I'll tell you what happens after you're president. You're a guy like Obama who charges $1 million to go do a speech for a graduation at Harvard, and you charge $1 million for speeches and stuff like that.
That's your life.
You're a consultant. You're basically a consultant.
But that's your life. That's it. You're done. You could have made a lot more money before even getting into politics, but you decided to go this route for a reason, because you want to be remembered.
Obama's gonna be a billionaire.
I don't know about. Maybe he is. I don't know. He's got a lot of power. I don't know. He probably is already.
You know how much money, Joseph? It'd be pretty sweet to go be a president for 4. But then I just said that, but then I totally just thought and renege on that, because you look at Obama in 2008, and then you look at him just 8 years later. He looks like he aged 20 years.
Dude, it's a tough job. You aged 20 years. Honestly, the only guy that didn't really age was Trump.
Yeah.
Like the guy, like he's just,
but he also probably does Botox and stuff like
who
that.
Who knows, dude? Who knows? I mean,
he definitely does.
Like I don't know. Like, I mean, does anyone really know what happened to Reagan after his presidency? Like, he's just like the later years. Like, what happens to you?
This is what I'm said about the Trump and the aging thing too. How old's Trump? 75.
I think Trump is 70. Yeah.
Whatever. Let's say he's 75.
He's younger than Biden.
He should have gray hair right now, but he dyes his hair.
I think
Obama didn't give a shit. He just goes gray. Like if Obama would dye his hair, he wouldn't look as old either.
Yeah.
Like the wrinkles, but if he did Botox and he just let it go. He didn't give a shit.
Yeah, but he wants to look like distinguished, like intelligent, a guy of knowledge, a guy who's wise.
I don't even think he needs to look like that. He is very smart. He's a very smart guy.
Here's a good word for wisdom. He's got sagacity. Look that up, ladies and gentlemen. Sagacity.
Did you look at the dictionary too much?
Sagacity.
Yeah, Obama is a very smart guy, and every president. I mean, like George Bush probably when he was president, he probably got his.
These
hand
guys
in,
are smart.
And,
I mean, compared to the general public, these guys are the top of the line. Ivy League school guys, like.
I think that's why Trump is smart though, but in different ways than those guys. And I think that's what pisses people off.
Oh, yeah, he does it differently. Like, he is an unorthodox guy who goes about the whole procedure of everything, right? Like, he kind of goes to the beat of his own drum, which throws people off. He's not trying to play their game. He's trying to play Trump's game. He wants to stamp politics and say Trump's politics. And people don't like that. It's a little alarming.
Yeah, but he also, he makes big changes for America. It's getting to the point where people don't trust really anybody else except Trump to make changes that we need right now. Like inflation is terrible, gas prices are terrible, international affairs are going through just down the drain.
I mean, yeah, there's definitely things picking up abroad. I think inflation was, Trump was a part of that too a little bit during COVID. Like, I mean, the Federal Reserve, he did pick the guy, the head chairman. Who's the guy? Powell. He elected that guy to be the chair or the head chair of the Federal Reserve. I don't even think
it's all his, dude. I think
what happened. He was involved with it, right? The steps he took for COVID, shutting down the economy, was all under him.
But he got pushed into a corner to do that.
It still happened nonetheless.
It was during 2020. It was an election year. He had to do what the public was basically asking him, or he knew he had no chance at all.
I know, but to say he has he didn't say anything that negatively affected people is crazy. Like, I think he definitely made some wrong moves down the line, but I think he's a president that is, I think his message is more pro-America and being like kind of more crass about it, saying like, I'm pro-America. Like, I want to fight for everybody. I'm not trying to divide the country anymore. But the way he talks inevitably does divide the country. And I don't know. Like, I think it's kind of funny. Like, we were talking about this last podcast with like identity politics with like Obama and Bush and how they were basically the same presidency, but like identity politics allowed someone like Obama to come in the office and be like tolerable because he's a person of color, but yet he did the same things that Bush did. He only prolonged it. But like, and that's kind of the same thing that Biden's doing. Like, we're in more wars. Like, Trump was the only president in the last 20 years that didn't go to war with anybody.
Obama was a fucking killer, dude.
Oh, dude.
That guy was a killer.
Ruthless. Yeah. Ruthless. Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me? I wouldn't, dude, that would probably be a dude if I was in a private room with him and we were like negotiating terms and conditions. That guy, I think he'd be up there with Trump when you're trying to like just talk to him. Like, I think the guy gets what he wants.
That's why I always say that he's still running the country behind the scenes.
I don't know, man. I mean,
I get it. You can't think that deep. I understand. I understand you don't want to think that deep, but
it's like, yeah, people. I think that deep. I mean, goddamn. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's crooked people. I mean, yeah, Washington had slave teeth. And then there's like a propaganda about him having wooden teeth. He never tells a lie. Like, these guys are twisted, all right? They're presidents for a reason. You kind of want them to be sociopaths, all right? You don't want them to be your everyday Joe walking to the grocery store.
I'm going to tell you, just look into it. Obama still runs the country, and stop looking into words like sagacity.
Dude.
Tim Dillon will tell you the same thing.
No, Tim Dillon would tell you both things. I think it's good to know things. I think, okay, did you know what sagacity meant before?
I don't even still know what it means. I don't care.
It means you're wise. You're a person of like you're a wise person.
I'm never gonna use that in my vocabulary.
Like, you have sagacity. This person has sagacity.
He's a sagast.
No, you can't. you can't use it as an adjective. I think it's like I don't know. It's like a verb almost. But yeah, I mean, how do we even go down this trail with like Nick Wright? Like how Nick Wright became big because he's like a pro LeBron guy, and kind of like I said, he's the Vivek Ramaswamy of sports media because he kind of rode LeBron's coattail to kind of be well known as like a pro LeBron guy, where like Vivek kind of jumped pretty much. Because here's the thing. I think Vivek would be ahead of DeSantis and Haley if Trump wasn't on the ballot, because I think if people had to choose, like the MAGA Republicans would definitely go to Ramaswamy before DeSantis or Haley. So he would be the second fiddle. And I think he knew this long game. So I think he's going to be I don't know if he'll be on the cabinet or he'll be the vice president, but I think he's trying to play this long game where he's going to run in 28.
He could very well be the vice president, but
because he's only 38 years old.
Because the argument is people are speculating that Trump's going to pick like a woman like Tulsi Gabbard or that other girl, I forget her name. But then again, when you think of Trump, I don't see him picking a girl. But
I don't know.
Did you see that thing he put, like he tweeted out about Vivek? Like
that he's a great guy, or
no, he was saying like it was kind of negative. Like it was kind of like
recently?
Yeah, it was like it was right when Vivek dropped out. He's like, I appreciate Vivek, blah blah blah, but he's trying to do these secret campaign things that I don't know it word for word, but it wasn't positive.
He was, I think recently after Trump won the caucuses, I think he was like, when he withdrew from the election, I think Ramaswamy is like on stage with Trump saying he's pro-Trump.
Yeah, no, I saw that.
He's the only pro-American guy in this race.
What I just said, what I just said could have been fake, because like somebody could have made that up and just totally AI'd or whatever.
Yeah, then again, there's
photoshopped
there's Russian troll farms still. Like, yeah, get ready for those, because that's going to amp up during the election.
It very well could have been fake, now that I think about it, because I didn't go and check actually on Donald Trump's Truth, because I don't have Truth app on my phone. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if it was actually true.
I'll tell you what, though, those debates are going to be so interesting.
With who?
With just like, because it's going to be Trump and Biden.
You think?
Well, yeah. I mean, Biden says he wants to run still. And Trump won in a landslide. Like, I think Trump is going to end up being the ticket.
I thought you were meaning the debates with like Trump and Haley and DeSantis, and I was going to say he's not going to do that.
He's not going to waste his time.
Yeah.
Like, how big? Like, that is such a power play where he's like, I'm not even going to share screen time with you people, because you guys are not even in. Like, you're like you're in my rearview mirror. Like, I don't even give a fuck about you two.
That's
such a G move.
That's why he's going to win. That's not why he's going to win, why he's doing like how he's doing that, but you just know if he's able to do that and not even have to show face in the primaries, he's going to win.
Like, he's doing like rallies the same night as the Republican debates.
And they're getting more views.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane, but I like the long game that Ramaswamy's playing, because he's smart, because he knows where the wind's blowing, right?
Well, if I was able to choose, I would want Vivek to be his vice president.
I don't know if he's a vice president guy. I mean, he's already announced
I think he's playing. I know, but now I think he's kind of playing those cards. I would love for Vivek,
regardless, if he's a pro-Trump guy, he's going to run in 28.
Because I don't see Vivek being like a Secretary of State, like running a State Department, because he has no experience in that. And running the State Department, that is all foreign affairs, and he has no experience at all. Like,
wasn't that like Jared Kushner though? Like,
I don't know.
I mean, that was kind of the same thing. Like, I don't think he was like in politics before. Like, it was kind of.
Was he the Secretary of State?
No, but he was in Trump's cabinet. I don't think he had any like.
Yeah, being in the cabinet and being the Secretary of State's a whole different ballpark.
I know, but they were like saying like, I think like fucking even like Donald Jr. was somehow involved too.
Well,
like,
being in your cabinet,
they were calling it like nepotism. Like, Trump's getting people around him that's in the family.
I think like saying you're part of the president's cabinet is kind of just being like an advisor to the president.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, that's what Vivek would be.
Secretary of State is not advisor to the president.
Wait, but Trump picks who's the Secretary of State?
The Secretary of State basically handles all foreign affairs.
So how's that not the cabinet? How's that not his team?
Because the Secretary of State's in the State Department.
I know, but that's a guy that's a Trump guy. Like, he picked him. He hand-selected him.
You could say the same thing about Trump selects who is running the CIA. He's not in Trump's cabinet.
Or the Supreme Court.
Exactly. It's not Trump's cabinet.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Being a cabinet member and Secretary of State are two different things.
Like, okay, let's say Trump wins or whatever. Or no, say Biden, just by the grace of God, Biden wins. And I actually, never mind. Okay, if Trump won, Vivek's the Secretary of State, and then all of a sudden a Democrat gets elected in 28, can Vivek still be the Secretary of State?
They'll move it. They'll change it.
Okay, well.
Being a cabinet member and being Secretary of State are two different things, though.
But it's like it goes hand in hand with who's president.
Yeah, like you get to choose your own cabinet.
Okay,
You get to choose
okay.
the Secretary of State.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You get to choose who's running the director of CIA. Like you get to choose it all.
Or they get the Federal Reserve.
Yeah, you get to choose whatever. You get to do whatever you want because those are not elected positions.
Mm.
They're like a Secretary of State. You don't run for Secretary of State.
They're like, okay, yeah.
They're president appointed positions. Like there's a ton of them. Like I don't know why I'm not thinking of them. Like I don't know, just Secretary of State. I just know it's.
You know who I would vote for president? You're gonna say who?
No, who?
Mike Boudreaux.
Well, he's running for Congress first. He's got to get to Congress first.
Yes.
He's got to get into Congress first, which would be awesome.
He's got my vote. He's on the ballot.
Yeah, he's a friend of the podcast.
Shout him out. Yeah, Mike Boudreaux. Really love to have you come back here.
Okay, wait. Before you get into something else, the Nick. I want to touch on Nick Wright one more time.
Yeah.
When did he start? Like, around what years did he start like getting big? Kind of.
2015.
So it was that.
Kind of when Fox Sports was taking
I
off.
thought it was like before that. I thought it was like I was gonna say like 2012, 2013.
I know,
okay, 2015. Let's say.
Yeah, it was 2015.
Let's say you're exactly. Let's say that's
before
right.
LeBron.
I still remember
after Miami.
I still remember seeing like the first videos of Nick Wright like on Twitter or whatever, and I'm like, who is this guy? Like I kind of like him, and I'm like 14 years old at this point.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing this guy, and I'm like, dude, I've never seen this guy before, but he sounds so smart, and he's just going at people's throats about LeBron.
I'm honestly super proud of myself for making that Ramaswamy comparison because I just came up with that on the fly. It's so true because the same thing. I was 14 years old. Everyone's like hating LeBron and shit. And LeBron didn't really, it was just Skip Bayless kind of bashing LeBron like a famous like media personality, like not LeBron's fan. And then out of the blue, this guy comes out of like air, like by the grace of God, somebody's here to help LeBron's legacy be sustained. And that was Nick Wright making points.
Did you see that thing Skip did after the Cowboys game, that video he posted of
Yeah.
him throwing away all his Cowboys shit?
By the way, I think Skip Bayless is in better shape than I am.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, that guy's insane.
But what I was getting at with the Cowboys thing is next season, say the Cowboys start out 3-0, he's going to be right back on that fucking train.
Dude, sure. Yeah, that's what he has to do. He does it every year. I mean, the Cowboys are good every single year.
Yeah, but they just never end up making it pan out.
And they said they're not going to fire McCarthy either.
Well, yeah, that's why Belichick's not going there probably.
I
think that Atlanta is so weird.
Isn't
that weird?
They got to get a new quarterback. I mean, Desmond Ritter is just...
Well, they'll probably trade up in the
answer.
draft, or they can get someone good at 8. I don't think May's the answer, because let's say Caleb goes 1 like he's going to.
Yeah. May's going to go 2.
Yeah, but he's not. Whoever gets him is screwed.
Who's 2? The Commanders? Yeah.
Yeah.
The Commanders are 2. Yeah, I mean, I take a swing at Drake May.
I wouldn't.
I mean, they...
Not before Penix. I wouldn't.
I don't know. Drake May could be Josh Allen. Like, I don't think honestly, when Josh Allen was going into the draft, I was a big Baker Mayfield guy, and I probably would have said I'm taking Baker Mayfield over Josh Allen. But look,
you know how many other Drake Mays there were? There was like when did Kenny Pickett get drafted? At what draft? He was like a little bit later in the first round. I'm pretty sure.
He was the 20th. He was in
Mason
the 20s.
Rudolph.
He was in the 20s.
One was Mason Rudolph.
Mason
top
Rudolph
5.
was like a third round guy.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I thought he was like top 5.
Mason Rudolph's like an OK State third round guy. Third or fourth.
Who
or
else
second
are
round,
just
but it wasn't
terrible?
first.
Who else are just Trubisky? When was Trubisky drafted?
Second overall pick.
Blake Bortles.
Third overall pick.
Exactly. Like there's these guys that I think Drake May is going to be in that.
Hey,
category.
don't shit on Blake Bortles. He went to the AFC Championship
I'm not shitting
game.
on Blake Bortles. I'm shitting.
He won a Super Bowl.
What?
He won with the Rams. He was the backup.
Okay, so don't screw me right now. I know Blake Bortles like first or second year he did really well.
Yeah, he was
with
like
the
a Mark
Jags.
Sanchez type
Yeah, he did
career.
very well, but he just fell off, and that's usually how it happens.
Yeah, Trubisky. I mean, Trubisky didn't even make it. The double doink year.
But name a couple more of them. Who are other Trubiskys that I'm not thinking of right now?
Like, what do you mean Trubisky? Like Drake May's not like Trubisky.
Like top 5 quarterback drafted or top 10 quarterback, like who was drafted in the first 10 picks who were just totally busted out.
Well,
in the last couple years.
Right now you can say Bryce Young.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
You can say Bryce Young right now. The Bears really got out of that one.
Yes, I'd say C.J. Stroud was the best pick of all time.
Yeah,
in
that
this
guy's a G.
My
that
gosh.
guy is really good.
So composed in the pocket.
He looks like a seasoned pro. Like there's just guys. I don't know how you evaluate this, but like the way he like he can take a hit and throw into it, right? Like he's not afraid of getting blitz. He's not afraid of blitzes. He's not afraid of like NFL defenses. Like this guy, I mean, it's kind of like a rarity that a guy from Ohio State was just so pro ready because it's like that's like the stigma that Ohio State gets. It's like they never produce good NFL quarterbacks.
Like Cardell Jones.
Yeah,
and
Cardell Jones didn't make the
Who
league.
was the other guy?
Justin Fields.
No, the other guy.
JT Barrett.
JT Barrett.
Braxton Miller
He didn't
couldn't even
play.
finish college.
Yeah.
Troy Smith.
But what you were just saying about C.J. Stroud, like how he's able to just get
Dwayne
throws
Haskins.
off. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but he passed away.
I know, but he was already out of the league when that happened. Like he got picked by the Steelers and they just like got rid of him.
Yeah, but he was in wasn't he with the Commanders? He was yeah. But I don't think he did as terrible as some of these other guys. Like Trubisky's terrible.
No, Trubisky is still in the league. He was better than Haskins.
Haskins would still be in the league right now.
No, dude, Jackson, he passed away and he was already out of the league.
No, he wasn't. He was with a team.
No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't.
I'm gonna look it up right
No,
now. But
I'm telling
the
you,
thing
he was
about
already
C.J.
out of the
Stroud,
league.
the thing about C.J. Stroud, that's what I mean. He is one of the best composed quarterbacks that, not even, especially as a rookie, because being a rookie quarterback is, I mean, as you know, is tough. You're leading a franchise.
I don't know, but it seems tough.
I'm not saying first-hand experience, but you understand, like, to lead a franchise as a rookie and you're a kid, but still, like,
I don't even want to smile anymore because my fucking tooth, dude. You make me think you've made me so subconscious about it.
I'm gonna look up Dwayne Haskins.
Dwayne Haskins was out of the league when he sadly passed away. R.I.P.
That was terrible. Wasn't he hit by a bus or something?
It was something. Yeah, it was like a car accident. Or he was like a pedestrian on the street.
He signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2021 and served as a backup until his death the following offseason.
The following offseason where he wasn't signed yet.
He signed with the Steelers as the backup.
In 2021, and then he said the following offseason.
Yeah, the following.
They just said the last team he was on. I remember the media. Like, he was out of the league. Like, no one signed him. He was a backup quarterback for the Steelers.
Okay, here we go.
Was he signed
This is crazy. He is. His teammates, his fellow teammates. He was training with his fellow teammates in Florida when it happened. It literally says that right here. But listen to this. It says, Steelers quarterback Dwayne Haskins, who was allegedly drugged and extorted before his tragic death in 2022.
And he was just like, but didn't he get hit on the freeway?
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, that's sad. Okay, that's not good. That's not a good scene.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's horrible. God bless his soul.
Dude, I remember the Steelers or whatever team he was on made a statement about it, and it just said he was training with his teammates in Miami in the offseason.
What was the month?
I don't know. It was probably right after the season. I don't know.
It was right after the season. Then yeah, that makes sense. Because I'm pretty sure he was like not gonna get signed after that. Because there was stuff about him not like I don't want to. God damn it.
It was probably early May or April. Or it says the cause of death was revealed in May 24th, so it's probably April.
Yeah. So that's like, it's like
rest in peace, Dwayne.
Yeah,
rest in peace, Dwayne Haskins.
Yeah, I mean the guy. Yeah, he didn't work out for the Command. It just Ohio State quarterbacks don't work out besides C.J. Stroud.
C.J. Stroud's amazing.
Yeah.
C.J. Stroud is a very special quarterback.
Okay, so 21. I mean, you can have Burrow's a stud. Allen was a stud. Lamar's a stud. I'm just trying to think of first round quarterback. I mean, there's a bunch of. It's like 50-50.
Yeah.
It's a 50-50. Yeah. Hit or miss.
But what I'm getting at is that's what I think Drake May's going to be.
Yeah, I don't know. Penix could also suck too.
He could, but I think that's a thing. That's what the same thing
or
with
Jaden
Caleb
Daniels
Williams.
could suck.
I think he's going to be terrible.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the guy's like 180 pounds.
I think he's going to be terrible.
Yeah,
he's not Lamar Jackson.
I don't know. Maybe he can throw better than Lamar coming out.
Lamar could sling it right now.
No, but I'm saying Lamar's rookie season, he was like...
Yeah, that's what the big people thought Lamar wasn't even going to play quarterback in the NFL. And then his second year in the league wins MVP?
Yeah, but...
Shut up, haters.
You know what's so funny, though, is that in the combine... He elected not to run the 40 time because it was going to be so good that they're going to be like, damn, he needs to play receiver.
Yeah.
Like he probably would have ran like a 4.3.
Yeah.
He probably would have ran a 4.3, like something stupid, like faster than RG3's time.
But this is what I think I've said this before. I think Caleb Williams is either going to be like a CJ Stroud type.
Yeah.
Or he's going to be not good at all.
That's the thing about those quarterbacks with like big, like personas and personalities, like a Tebow, like a Newton, like guys who win the Heisman that are super hyped up going to the pros.
Newton was good for a couple
I know,
years.
but like Cam would be in the league right now if he wasn't as well known. Like he could be a backup right now, but he can't be a backup because if he was on any other team like the Commanders, they'd be like, put Cam Newton in, put Cam Newton in, put Cam Newton in, like just getting hate until that happens, or they like celebrate when the starter gets hurt or struggles, right? you can't have certain guys like that on your team because it's just a distraction. Like, you can't have Tebow either because
Well,
Tebow was a big distraction.
Yeah, but I think Cam Newton is 100 times better than Tebow.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying guys like Caleb Williams.
I get what you mean.
Caleb Williams is either a starter or he's not going to be in the league.
Well, when I say a starter, I think he's either going to be offensive rookie of the year, or he's going to be. We're not going to hear about him in 3 years. He's going to be like a Trubisky in 3 years.
Shit, Trubisky's still in the league, brother.
Okay, I think he could still be in the league.
On the Steelers, by the way.
But you're saying that a guy like Caleb Williams, I could also see that people don't even want him like a Cam Newton type deal because they'll be rooting to put Caleb in. I could see what you mean.
Yeah, no, it definitely.
And I say the same thing for Penix.
Even with like Michael Vick, like that happened towards the end of his career.
Like, who would you say the second best rookie quarterback this year is? Is there even any?
Wait, are you saying from
this
last
year,
year's draft?
Yes, from this year. Right now, that's a rookie. I can't even think of another one who's a rookie this year. Like, who's another rookie quarterback
Hold on,
this year?
let me think. Was it? I mean,
if we can't think of it, they're not good enough.
Stetson Bennett wasn't in it.
Joseph, if we can't think of one, then they're not. He's not like Penix.
God damn it! There's got to be somebody. I just feel like we're not.
There's not. It's Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud. Is that starters?
No, dude. This is bad reporting. We're forgetting somebody's name who's worked his entire life to be an NFL quarterback, and we can't even remember who was a first-round pick. That's why nothing matters, ladies and gentlemen, because people forget. Like, people eventually will forget that Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time.
The Chiefs have Mahomes. Eagles have Hurts. I'm telling you,
just look up last year's rookie quarterback class.
Dude, I'm looking through every team right now, and I'm telling you, it is nobody.
Look up last year's quarterback.
Okay,
class.
but you can't. You know, when I'm showing you all these teams, you know who the starting quarterbacks are of all these teams. It is nobody.
Oh no!
Yeah,
Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, but he got hurt.
And
he was doing solid.
He wasn't bad.
But that's the only other guy.
He wasn't bad. Jake Haener, Saints.
Will Levis.
Okay, yeah, he had spurts.
And that's it.
He had spurts.
And that's it.
Yeah. Okay. It's one. It wasn't the best quarterback class, but this year's is a lot more deep. It's a lot more deep.
All right, I think it's we could wrap this up.
Okay, let's just end off on one more thing. I want to talk about the importance of I want to talk about self-talk, like with your everyday thoughts.
Huge on that. I'm huge on that.
Because here's the thing, I think to an extent where it's when you hear messages of always listening to yourself is a good thing. I say nay on that because I think there's a distinction because I think there's I think you get tempted with there's temptations in your own mind that are leading you in a bad direction where I want to be like a hedonist. Think about I'm only doing self pleasuring in the short time, in the short instant gratification where your mind is telling you constantly, hey, let's sleep in today. Hey, let's eat this fast food. Hey, let's go out and drink even though I got something important the next day. Hey, let me stay up all night. Your brain's telling you certain things that aren't necessarily good for you. But then at the same time, you get those thoughts, but then also you get the same thing where it's hey, maybe you shouldn't have that donut. Or maybe, hey, fat motherfucker, maybe you should go run. Hey, maybe you should go work out. Maybe you would feel better if you did these certain things. And so it's almost this dualistic presence happening in your mind where it's there's a good, it's almost like from every TV show where you have the devil on your right and you got the angel on your left. And it's you got, which one are you going to listen to? And so that prudence, that's what real prudence is, I think.
What I'll tell you it comes down to is self-discipline. It all comes down to self. It doesn't matter what kind of self-talk you're having. It's the self-discipline that you have to make those right decisions.
But when you talk about listen to yourself, listen to your feelings, I think there's a message to be said where it's you need to tell yourself to shut the fuck up.
Fuck listening to your feelings. I get when people say listen to your body. If you're pushing yourself in your body, you're pissing blood or something.
Oh yeah.
Go see a doctor. Listen, your body is dying on you, but listen to your feelings.
No, I'll use a sports analogy to it. Okay, you're either hurt or you're injured. If you're hurt,
you can
play, but you're telling yourself oh, I'm trying to reserve myself. I'm not trying to exert anymore. The pain's too much.
If you're Anthony Davis.
The pain's too much. I don't know, dude. Your ankle injuries suck. But okay, but you're just the pain's too much, but you can still do it. And I think what separates great athletes, it's where you're able to just shut that side off or you just ignore it. You're impervious to those self-talks where you're just telling yourself like these excuses that you can get out of, and it's like the perseverance to like just like, you know what, I got a goal set in mind and I'm gonna stick to it. And it's like it's deciphering which one is which, and it's easier said than done because sometimes it can be wrapped up in something that seems good, like something that could be intentionally like a good thing for you, but then really it's not. Like really it's just yourself lying to yourself trying to get a certain thing, like a let out or an outlet to get out of the situation.
Well,
I don't know. I mean, that's why I think that's the real definition of like what prudence is.
You know what the best presentation of that is the NFL quarterback. Like, did you see Matt Stafford in that last game, how he was getting mauled? I mean, just mauled. You know he was hurting so bad, but he wanted to finish. It's a playoff game. You got to finish that game.
You got to finish
NFL quarterbacks get, I mean, not now as much as maybe 10, 15 years ago, but they still get mauled, and they take hit. I mean, it's a blind hit. You have a 300-pound guy running you full speed, and you're just standing there letting off a throw, getting mauled.
Yeah.
And it hurts. But they get up every single time.
Or it's even like it's like the 40% rule that Goggins talks about when you're telling yourself, I've given everything. That's like a governor on your mindset. Like really you can give like 60% more really before you really drop dead. But that 40% is when your mind starts to tell you like, this is like I'm getting like we're getting in like hazardous territory. Like I don't feel comfortable in this situation.
I feel like you're gonna start throwing that maybe.
Yeah, like before, like because you think you're gonna like just die, or you're not gonna be, you can't go anymore. But really, you have 60% more to give.
People don't realize how resilient the human body is.
Exactly, but it's like you have to train that, and you got to learn how to overcome.
Okay, so you're
like it's difficult. Like sometimes you have to tell yourself to shut up.
Well, so you're a quarterback.
What?
Hassan Reddick, you're letting off a 40-yard throw, and Hassan Reddick's one step away from you, and he just lets into you. Are you getting up?
Well, see, that's the difference. Though.
Are you getting up?
Right now, I'll tell you yes.
That's
but
right.
You really don't know until you get up. Like,
God
I mean,
damn it,
that's what separates guys like Tom Brady. Is like, yeah, the guy's a great leader. Yeah, the guy has a great work ethic. But it's like, can you take a hit?
Like when Ray Lewis would light him up.
Hit?
When he'd be on a run and Ray Lewis lights him up and he just gets up and starts mouthing off to Ray Lewis.
That would be probably one of the funniest like shows to watch. Is like actually test, like putting that to the test, like when you're in an interview with a quarterback and he's just having the interview and he, like think about Johnny Manziel bullshitting every like NFL scouts like, I'm not gonna do drugs, I'm not gonna party, and then all of a sudden like Ray Lewis comes out of nowhere and then just checks you.
You got to be such a
you know what I mean? Like that would be so funny.
Yeah, you know how that's another reason why Tom is just such a badass. He can get lit up by one of the best linebackers of all time, and he is not just getting up and taking his lick. He's getting up and mouthing off to Ray Lewis, saying, "Do it again."
Yeah, he's a.
I'm gonna throw a touchdown on you right now.
But like those are extreme cases. Like those are like NFL athletes, but like just like the modern man, like just a guy. It's like, God, I've given everything. My marriage sucks. Like things are tough. I can't get along with my kids. I can't. Me and my wife are on good terms. It's like. There's something to say where you're able to have those difficult conversations where in your head you're scared and you give yourself every justification to say, maybe I'll do it later. Maybe I'll put it to the side. But it's like you have to do the challenging things to overcome like long-term.
It's almost
effects.
like the world enables that thoughts you were saying now. That it's almost like
it's human nature that enables that.
They coddle that though now. 40 years ago, if you were saying stuff like that and you were the man in the house and you weren't providing for your family, people would call you a bitch.
But I think
nowadays it's like we need to take care of blah blah blah.
I don't think that's a modern problem. I think it's like I think man, and I'm just gonna say man is mankind. Man is predisposed to those inklings of like you have a propensity to be like, I'm gonna take the easy way out because I think it's the best way of survival. It's the best way to like procreate, right? Because we were living in the jungle, like we were running away from saber-toothed tigers, like we had to do everything possible to get away from the most dangerous situations just to to continue on the human race. And so you put it in a modern sense, it's like you still get those inklings of like, I don't want to do these things, like I know it's gonna hurt, I know like these things suck, I don't enjoy them, so why should I do it? And it's like having the right self-talk in your mind to be like, hey motherfucker, like shut up. Like, we're going to do this the hard way because really the hard way is the only meaningful way to live your life, right? Like, anyone who can just, like, sit down and just, like, kind of waste your life away just eating chips on the couch and just, like, kind of negatively, like, commenting on everything, like, It's fun. I bet it feels good to do that, but like
It doesn't.
it's not meaningful,
Dude, it
right?
doesn't.
It's like futile in a sense. Like everything's just pointless. Like when you actually put your chips onto something, when you actually try and go do something, you have skin in the game. And so, and that even like by that adventure alone, it brings you more meaning. And so that is, you just have to have that self-talk where I think prudence even comes, like you hear what everyone says, like, oh, you're always who you hang out around with. Like those are your friends. That's you. It's like, no, I think discernment's important, like judging good character, like and the people around you. But I think prudence is by far, I think, takes the helm of like what makes a person do the things that they do.
Yeah, when you're a person who sits on the couch all day and eats chips and looks negatively at everything, I can promise you that person is a lot more unhappy than the guy who does hard things and calluses his mind every day and puts a heavy load on his back and does heavy squats or is going to work every day and working his ass off. That guy is even though his life looks a lot harder, that guy's a lot more happy than the guy who's sitting on his couch looking at everything negatively.
Yeah, and like I definitely acknowledge that I feel like that all the time too, and it's like I fall short of that. And by the way, I sound like Tony Robbins right now. Why am I not getting millions of dollars to say this? Right? Like it's the same shit. We're Tony Robbins in a sense.
You know
like,
why?
You know when it's so easy to say these things. It's like, look at my life. I'm making $1 million. Take me serious. But it's like it's the reality of the situation. Like really, like I'm a common person talking to other common folks, and you are too. And it's like when it really goes down to it, when it really comes down to it, and you wake up in the morning and it's 6:30, and you're like, "Fuck, I got to do it all over again." Who are you going to listen to? Who are you going to listen to? You're going to listen to this. You're going to listen to the person say, "Just stay in the warm bed. Stay in the warm bed. Don't do anything. It doesn't really matter."
That's the toughest one.
Exactly.
That's
that's the real one.
Yeah.
That's the actual real life experience that every human fucking experience, like every common man experiences that same feeling, that same self-negative talk. It's like, it's okay.
No, but it's okay. We can both agree that being in your bed and it's 6:37 in the morning and you're just cozy and you're like, I don't got anything to do for another couple hours. I can just stay here and watch something on my phone, watch TikTok or whatever.
Yeah, I can just scroll for hours, just get lost.
But when you get up and you get yourself up and maybe take a shower, drink a coffee, and start doing something, and it's 7:30 now, you just feel way better. And then you get something done, and it's only 9 o'clock, and you're like, I could be waking up right now, but I just got all this shit done. And you feel way better.
And like putting yourself out there, like put yourself out there. Like if you try and do things, like take chances, like really like try and like grow yourself, like try and achieve goals, right? Like it's not bad to have goals, but it's like, are you going to chase those goals?
I think a lot of people nowadays are just so scared that they're just scared to try and fail.
Well, it's like, it's the cave analogy. It's like, do you want to stay warm under the fire in the cave, or do you want to go experience the real world as it is? Right. And that's the chase. That's the adventure.
But people need to be more comfortable. People, especially people who are our age, who are 20.
And I'm talking about me too. Like I need to do better. Like I need to live my life more like
everybody.
This. Like, I need to do this.
But people who are like 20 years old, I forgot what I was gonna say now. It's all right.
Like most people live in comfortability, and it's like that comfortability.
Oh, I know. I remember.
It's very hard to find meaning in comfortability.
When you're 20 years old, especially like our age, it's okay to try something and fail because you're 20 years old. Like it gets harder when you're like 50, 60 years old and like maybe start a business or something. Like you fail, that's all your chance.
Oh, especially for our generation, we got to pay off all the debt.
You can fail
all the interest on it.
You can fail 100 times before the time you're 30, and all you have to do is try and get it right one time and succeed one time, and you could have it done for the rest of your life.
And you know what? And if money and making money isn't like what you really want to do with your life, maybe like you just want to like, I don't know, maybe you just want to cruise, but like don't just like cruise. Like try and find hobbies to do, like you know, get good at golf. Maybe go like be a fucking painter. I don't know. I'm just making things up, but it's like go find your niche that you want to do, and it like you can at least learn a new skill, right? If
there's somebody watching that doesn't want to make a lot of money, please comment, because I would love to know if there's somebody like that.
I think there are people like that. Like I think some people just want to work out.
I think there's
just gym bros too.
I think there's people. Everybody wants to be successful and have money. But there's people who just think it's not possible, and there's people who think they can just be comfortable being an employee and not have to take chances and just be comfortable like that. That gets back to the comfortability thing, the cave analogy you're saying.
But it's like
everybody wants to be successful, but it's people are just afraid to take those chances.
And
here's comfortable.
Here's a misconception with that. Once you leave the cave, once you actually try to go out and do it, the struggle's not over, ladies and gentlemen. It's only just begun. And so it goes back to like if you seek out a plan, you lay out what you're going to do, you have a goal in mind what you're going to do for 2024, and again, 6:30 comes around, and it's you've been doing this for 3 months, and you're like, damn it, I am so tired. This is so mundane. I want to do something different. I like to say, in times like that's a cop out. Like you're trying, like that's something in your mind trying to get you out of like your uncomfortable state.
I want to tell people this. People need to start getting comfortable doing uncomfortable things.
I mean, yeah, that's easy. Yeah, for sure.
You need to be comfortable doing uncomfortable things.
Or just give yourself goals. Give yourself goals, and I mean those goals are tough to do. Deal with it, right? If they weren't tough, it wouldn't be meaningful. Right?
Something David Goggins said is, you need to be uncommon amongst uncommon men, and that is so true.
And I think this, and this is like, and I'll end on this idealist socialism, fucking like Duncan Trussell type like message here. If everyone did that, we would be living in a utopia. You know what? We'd be living in a much better place.
I say that all the time when I see bad drivers, when I see people who just, I don't even want to say it, but like when I see bad drivers, people just are. I forget what I was going to say again. People are just comfortable with not.
Yeah, I mean
trying.
That's the real message in it. It's just like you got to have the prudence, and you got to have, I guess, the courage to tell sides of like that. I guess that self-talk that you're trying to, those excuses you're trying to get out of. Like you got to be able to like
I know
decipher which one you need to listen to. And that's prudence.
We can't how you said if everybody amongst uncommon men, if everybody's like that, it'd be a utopia. We can't have it. Like we need people to be common people it would be a utopia, and this world wouldn't run the way it does. We need people to do the jobs people don't want to do. Like we need people like that. If we didn't, the world wouldn't run the way it does. I mean, and like everybody has importance in this world.
Yeah, and when that's the situation, that's the system of government that has taken place. I mean, that's the system of government that's always been taking place. Is like there are inequalities in society,
especially in a capitalistic society.
I mean, especially in communist societies as well. Like that's never happened. What? Like some guy hoards all the wealth. Like that's real equitable. It makes a lot of fucking sense.
You got $100 oligarchs who have 50% of the.
It's like I'm gonna trust some jackass that knows just as much as me to control all the means of production. Like go screw yourself, all right? But anyways,
we'll get into that next time because I have stuff to say about the privatization of Russia.
But I'm just saying, like, everyone's in a different situation. Everyone's situation is different. But what I'm saying is, you got to find meaning. You got to try and do things. You got to do difficult things. It's just. And I know there's people out there, like there's people living in, Gaza, and it's just like there's just like situations where you really can't get out of, and it's just like you're just damned pretty much. But like. That's the fortune that we have with people, like with living in a society like this, like in the United States, what the Western world for the most part. Like if you are somebody like that who has a chance to actually change your life, maybe that's the perspective that you need to have about like, hey, I need to find meaning. I'm given a gift to be living in these situations, and I need to make the most of it. So with that said, read a book, go for a run. We love you, and go fuck yourself.